Is live. I don't know. I'm hoping that we did all of this correctly. Who is to say? We got Will Hunter over there on the other end as I search to find out where this is on our YouTube page. Will, can you talk? So, please.
No, I think I'll just stare and watch you sort of sink into this.
Yeah, that's good. Okay, we're off to a roaring start then. It's like old times. Yeah. Chemistry's never been higher over here. All right. So a lot of people.
Do I want to help you out? That's what you're asking me. Do I want to help you out?
That was a stupid question on my part. That was silly. That was dumb. I should know better.
It appears as though we're live. Riley Sport says live.
We are live. We have one viewer. So hello, one viewer. A lot of people know what this is all about. This is Spartan Strong-A-Thon is what we called it. And this was Will's idea. All right. We want to give credit to the proper person here. He texted me being, hey, let's do a thing. People donate money. They can ask us any question they want. We're going to answer every single one of them. So there's two groups of people I want to thank here before we get started. Number one is just one person. It's Will Hunter for coming up with this and for going live, showing the face too on YouTube. But group number two is everyone that has retweeted it, donated to it. Especially, we got a lot of great questions as well. And also, we did get some late questions that did push us over the $1,000 donation mark. So $1,000 of you guys is going to Spartan Strong Fund. Cannot think of a better fund. Of course, at a time like this. It is. And I saw this early on Twitter too. Just the outpour of just support and love and donations is crazy for Spartan Strong. I think they've raised over $1 million total as well. Mm-hmm. So who's done more damage? Was it this podcast or was it a guy by the name of Eminem retweeting the link and everything? I don't know. Who's to say? We may never know the real answer to that question, but the support for the Spartan Strong Fund and the Michigan State community has been unbelievable, to say the least. So thank you everyone that has donated, asked a question. We do have the donation link below if you want to get in on that. And of course, Spartan Strong isn't the only fund out there. There's a lot of good GoFundMe's going around for the people still in the hospital, these families of the victims. So any way you want to give, please do go for it. I mean, you guys have been awesome. So cannot thank you enough. Will, do you have any thoughts before we get into the first question here? This event, by the way, could take anywhere between 30 minutes and 5 hours and 30 minutes. Yeah. I got zero. I got a few shirts I could change into if I get way too sweaty during this. Yeah, I don't know how long it's going to take. 9 hours. And also, if you're waiting for this to be on the podcast, we're going to cut up this audio. We're going to drop it on Wednesday's episodes, Thursday's episodes, maybe Friday if this really gets too long.
You're taking the whole week off in the name of charity.
I'm still working on Big Guest, though. You know,
Who is that? I don't want Magic. You get Magic.
It's not.
You get Magic.
It's a guy that's even more hardworking than Magic. We're trying to bark up the Robbie Hummel tree again. The guy that works 8 games a week here. But we'll see. The guy's very busy, so we'll see if we can get him out.
Henry, if you go onto Matt's Twitter page, Sheehan_sports, there's a link there. If you want to get a question in. Still, while we're live, you definitely can. Mm-hmm. It's what, $10 donation. Take a screenshot and send it to Matt, and then you can ask whatever question you want.
Yep, absolutely. Good call, Will. Should we just get into the first question? Should we just go for it?
Yeah, real quick. I think everything you said was right on.
Hey, thanks.
Appreciating you taking the time. People are seeing why I no longer do the podcast. I knew that eventually it was in the works. We'd, get emails and stuff like, all right, we're going to video. And I just made the decision. I don't want to shave. Look at my facial hair. It's trash.
Yeah.
I don't want to groom. I just want to look like heaping trash silently away from cameras.
I get it.
And now I'm here actually showing my face. I left the podcast because I don't want to shave.
The only thing that can bring you back is just charity. So that's it. So for one night and one night only, thanks a lot for doing so.
This is live.
It is live. Yeah. Justin asking, hey, is this live or is this pre-taped? No, we couldn't find a 6-hour pocket of time over the weekend to pre-tape this. This is live. So let's get started with the first question. And I can't think of a better question to kick this off with. And this is from Willy Wonka and his Woodshed. Great name, by the way. Wow, look at that. What makes you proud to be a Spartan, Will? Since this was your idea, you are the guest of honor. You're no longer officially the co-host, although you're still the more beloved one between the two. We're going to let you bat first for these questions. So, Will, take it away, good sir. What makes you proud to be a Spartan?
Can we alternate? Like, I'll go first this time.
Sure, that's fine. That's fine.
Yeah, I'm gonna alternate because
Sure.
I'll be totally honest. In the spirit of our show, and what was our show? Very little prep work. Saw a couple of the questions, so I might need a minute. Might need
That's
a
fine.
minute to sort out. The thing that makes me most proud to be a Spartan. I did see this one. I was thinking about it, and it's just like when there are times of tragedy and just bad things happening, whether it's this, whether it was NAS or different things on campus where things just aren't what we all wish it was.
Yeah.
It seems like every single time the most steady and calming and reasonable and smart and compassionate and empathetic voices come from the student body. And that's not to say that like professors and other people of leadership don't do good things too, but it always seems like for whatever reason, the students at Michigan State represent the university when there's a spotlight. Like the Nasser scandal, obviously a nightmare, and even someone who's been in front of microphones for as long as Tom Izzo has and has talked to the media as much as like he stepped in it. Because he was flustered, whatever it was, he stepped in it. And I just remember like not being surprised by that, but like bummed out by it. And then I saw Cassius Winston, whoever was the reporter, like doing a 2-minute thing, just saying literally everything you would hoped a leader of the university would say. And I felt the same way, like throughout that whole process, the student body and the people supporting the survivors and wanting accountability and all that. And then just the way everyone sort of turned out with this latest incident, it's just been, it always seems like the students at MSU are really generally good people that care about their fellow students. Like it's not just like a BS, the whole go green, go white thing. Like it's a real connection and like you actually care about someone at university with them. And I think that's genuine. And so that whole vibe is what makes me most proud to have gone to Michigan State and to be a Spartan.
That's incredibly well said. And I'm going to piggyback off of a lot of that. Obviously, it goes without saying the amount of support and love that's been shown just from inside the Spartan family has been overwhelming. And if I keep talking about it, I'm going to start crying on camera again. But
do it.
Just also the side. I did a lot of that last week. It's just the size, too, of this fan base, the alumni base, the student body, too. Like everywhere you go, you're hearing a Go Green. You could wear a state shirt in the mountains of Nepal, and you will go 30 minutes by the time you hear a Go Green from someone. So it's not just that, of course, too, but also just the old adage of work hard, play hard. I think that's the Spartans right there, right? I mean, just always grinding, whether it's, it's just the daily 9-to-5 jobs like most of us do, where, hey, we got the most NBA owners up in this joint, but too, tailgating is always a great time. I mean, just how down to earth collectively we are. Of course, it is a great time whenever you go to East Lansing. Everyone just seems to be on the same page. Just no one takes themselves too seriously for the most part. But yeah, it's just the general vibe too of just the whole community is just really just makes you feel at home, no matter where you are, whether that's in physical East Lansing, Metro Detroit. God, I know Chicago is basically West East Lansing, but yeah, it's the community and every cliche that we're talking about. We've seen it. Yeah.
MSU is like the perfect is it the Goldilocks zone, right? The Goldilocks zone, I think, is where that, right, Matt?
Nope, sure don't, but I'm gonna act like I do. So yep, keep going.
It's a certain distance, it's a certain distance away from a star that a planet has to be where it's life supporting, right?
Okay.
I
like that.
So I was like Michigan State's like a Goldilocks zone university because we're smart enough to have a bunch of like number one ranked programs and number one ranked colleges and different stuff like that. And so we have some academic bona fides. We're generally really good at sports. Like if you compare us to, I don't know, Long Beach State University.
Okay, sure. Yeah.
Texas, like there's a million universities. Like we're in the upper tier, like we're in the Big Ten. We have really great university athletics.
Yeah.
And we have a really big campus and great campus life. And it's like smart enough that we have all these great things academically, but it's also like your buddy who got like a 3.2 GPA in high school and 21 on the ACT, like he can come. He or she,
Yeah.
they can get into school too, and they can have a good time, and they'll do a good job. Yeah, like we're not uppity. We're not going to turn our nose up at people. Like we'll run the gamut. We can have the most brilliant people in the world, and we can have people who are just barely getting into MSU. Get on in here. We love you all the same, and it's not like we're so, I don't know, like for all the great academics U of M has, they're very, condescending about it. I don't feel like anyone's condescending about an MSU education, but it's still like a really great education. So I think we're in that Goldilocks zone. It's a perfect mix. It's smart enough, but not too smart, not annoyingly smart, but very smart, good athletics, good campus, fun times. Like it's the perfect all around university.
We eat our filet mignon, but we wash it down with room temperature Busch Light. That's how we roll over here in East Lansing. Cameron writes in, what are your favorite memories of campus, sports related or not? Fire away and give us alumni something to reminisce about. Thank you to you both. Go Green forever. And thank you, Cameron. Really appreciate that very generous donation and the question as well. And my God, Solo, I believe. Yep. Okay. Yeah, that's right.
Cam's been listening forever. Spiro will get to you.
Sorry. I'm not checking these comments as good as I should be. I obviously we could talk about this for the next 7 hours, but I just limit it to 2 right now. I'm sure we'll get into another one. But anyone on campus
last time.
Oh yeah, anyone on campus in 2014 remembers that snowstorm going back to campus, and it just got dumped upon buckets of snow, and it was when everyone came back from winter break. Yeah, it was great. Oh, I remember the snow was so deep. I didn't even know this happens when it snows a lot, but like my calves were burning walking home because how hard it was to walk back in the snow. But I remember distinctly when that email sent out, I got to QD within 15 minutes and the line was out the door. Yeah. And that's when I knew that this is going to be a biblical party going on tonight. Can't go to class. It's a little too chilly to go to class, too much snow, but I'll traverse halfway across this neighborhood in East Lansing to get to a party at a house that fits 20 people, but we're going to jam 60 in here anyway. Yeah. Let's just get nuts. But no, I got to go back to my first weekend. And I was at Michigan State, and I was green, as a state fan, but also I was very young to the world. I did not drink in high school at all. I didn't actually drink really freshman year. My suite mates, who I'm great friends with, awesome people. I love these guys. I have not met them. I'm sitting on their futon. A guy walks in after the first night party. He's like, hey, give me a flashlight right now. I think I cut my mouth drinking last night. I'm like, what? How's that even possible? And sure enough, like he shines a flashlight back his throat, like hit the back of his throat, all cut out. I don't even know what kind of vodka you drink for that to happen. But sure enough, he like damaged his tonsils to the point he had to get them removed the next weekend. But I'm here like, I've had like half a beer maybe once in my life. Like, oh my God, these guys drink like Navy sailors. Like I'm not built for this. I'm not cut for this. But eventually,
you realize
over 4 years I was cut for it eventually. But
that's like when you're a rookie slot receiver in the NFL. Your first game, you go over the middle and you just get drilled. Right? You're like
James Harrison waiting for you. Yeah.
This man has a 401k who just hit me. He has 3 children at home. This is serious.
Yeah, so it's just the party stuff to like just the wholesome, like, oh hey, all right, we're all smart, we're gonna have fun here, and oh my God, this guy damaged his mouth to the point he needed surgery because he drank so much last night.
Day one.
Day one. So those are 2 memories I just wanted to point out.
That snowstorm memory that you mentioned I was in the UP driving home back to East Lansing through that and got back to the house, and I actually had my then girlfriend, now wife's dog with me at the time because she was doing like a work swing, a 7-day thing where she was going to be working like 4 12-hour shit, whatever it was. And I was like, I'll take the dog. And where I lived on the other side of Hagedorn. So it was residential and students mixed, but it was still like, the cars are always driving down the street. It was a residential neighborhood. There's always cars and stuff like that. I basically just like pulled in the driveway and we got there and I looked around and I just opened the door. And the dog just like left. And I knew I was like, this is fine. Like no one's going to come driving down this street. No one's anywhere. It was just desolate. And I just opened the door and she just like went running through the snow, like middle of the street. Like, that's a lot of snow. And she's taller dog, not super tall. And it was like up to her chin. She's like just bounding through the snow like a little deer. I remember that. That was funny.
See, everyone enjoyed the snow day. It was great.
Yeah, it was great. My answer to that question, I didn't go specific. I went sort of broad.
Okay.
My favorite Michigan State memories happens like March 11th, March 21st, March 4th. It's the first day where it's like 67 degrees and sunny.
Dang. Which was almost always St. Patrick's Day. Almost always St. Patrick's Day. It was amazing.
One year it hit St. Patrick's Day and it was incredible. It was
Euphoric.
like 83 and sunny on St. Patrick's Day in like 2013.
Yes.
Whatever it was. But that first day where you just
2012. Yeah.
I would get up and have like a 10:20 class and I'd leave the house. It'd be 10 o'clock and I'd step outside and be like, oh, it's the day. And I would just go back inside and like, I'm not going to class.
Yeah, absolutely not. Absolutely not.
Class. Call up buddy. We're like, hey, you guys, like, yeah, we're on the front yard on a couch. Like, great, coming over. And then, yeah, just
the best.
Spend the entire day with like a backpack with beer in it, just walking around. Like, I'm just going to take the day and walk around the neighborhoods and we'll see what we see and we'll do what we do. But it was just that first day where you're like, I'm wearing a t-shirt and shorts, man. Like, I'm not wearing this jacket. Winter's done. And then it would snow the next week. But that first day, like, it just felt like campus came alive because everyone had the same thought, basically. It was like 50,000 people were like, let's go outside today.
2012 St. Patrick's Day is in MSU lore. And I was thinking about it. My best friend just texted me. Same thing. We woke up and had Birrios in his dorm. Over at Wonders. Dude, this was room temperature natty. This was Cheerios that we got from Combo Exchange, and we just ate Birrios and then went off with the rest of our days. But yeah, it was a Sunday, 83 degree. This sounds like old man on the porch talking about glory days. Like St. Patrick's Day 2012, like is when probably life peaked for a lot of people.
It was a heater,
like,
man.
Myself included. And like ever since, we've just been on a slow decline. But like, that was the Super Bowl for undergrads, man. It was the best.
That was my first one as a 21-year-old too, 2012. Yeah.
God bless you. Yeah. So that is a sensational memory. I don't think that'll be the last time we talk about St. Patrick's Day at State. We got a question that kind of resembles that. All right. So this is a question from Ben. I love this question. Actually, no. Sorry. Hold on. We're going to do Justin first because I know that Justin might actually.
Okay.
Yeah. Because he's going to drive to my house and take it up with me if I don't get to his question right now.
He's going to drive
so
to
we're going to do Justin first, and then Ben. He's going to be driving to a lot of places tonight. Justin writes in, I demand that my question be answered in both parts. Number one, why does Will Hunter hate me? I'm wondering the same thing, Justin. And number two, how can I earn forgiveness from Will Hunter? You could answer that any way you want, both together, one at a time.
Do you want to answer it? You don't want to answer it?
Why does Will Hunter hate me? I don't even have a creative answer for that. I wish I did. I didn't think I'd be answering this question, so I'm gonna punt to you.
Okay.
Unfortunately,
I don't have an answer for it either because Justin.
Oh no,
I do not hate you. Okay.
I could physically hear him getting in his car right now. He's getting in his car to get real answers. Yeah.
Let me explain this. I am, despite what my Twitter sometimes might indicate, although like I don't know, how am I on Maine? Am I like a nice normal person?
Adjacent, yeah, I think so. Okay. Yeah, but you also like come out like once every 4 days, which is also fun. Like that's
yeah, that's the vibe. I'm looking right at you. I am a monstrous curmudgeon. Okay. No, don't do that. Don't solo shot me.
Want to make it personal? Okay, all right, fine.
I am notoriously crotchety and old. Okay.
Yeah.
Around would have been like 2 years ago. Whenever, like, honestly, right around the time when I was like, okay, I'm done with the podcast and all that stuff. I made a concerted effort to just stop being involved in Twitter as much as I was.
Like a healthy person. Yeah.
Not even, I'm struggling, buddy. Struggling.
Okay, never mind.
So since then, like I had a bunch of people, like I was interacting with people and I followed a ton of people. You know, since then I've probably followed like 9 people in the last 2 years.
Okay.
And it's just like people like, oh, I accidentally unfollowed them and I just refollowed them. It's not you, I promise. If you want, I'll follow you right now. That's gonna be our whole build up thing. I'll make a whole ceremonial. We'll do it.
Wow.
Hold on.
Wow.
I'm
do you want to share your screen? Actually, I don't know how to do that.
I will.
Don't. Okay.
I'm just aggressively. I'm aggressively trying to not be online. Have you considered doing the exact opposite of that? It's horrible.
Have you? Answer the question. Yeah. Have you considered doing the opposite of that?
That's what I used to do.
Yeah. No, that's what I still do, unfortunately.
Yeah, and Sheehan can attest to this. I spend most of my time in like a group chat, maybe two, and that's it. I can't even find. Where are you?
This is gonna be an issue if we can't find Justin. Yep, there it is. That's him. I can confirm that's him.
Oh,
and that was close enough. Nailed it. There we go. We're on the board. Wow, that was something. Right, Justin can now sleep peacefully. This is incredible. Okay. This is great. So yeah, I think we're at peace, right?
There we go.
I hope that put all the water under the bridge.
I'm kidding. Look. I'll unmute.
Okay, that was nice of you. That's nice. All right, does that clear? Like, I think it clears. You need nothing from me at this point. Yeah, so, perfect. We're gonna move on to Ben's question. Thanks a lot, Justin, for the very generous donation. By the way, see that's the joy of asking any question that you guys want and answering it within the slightest bit of reason. Like you get stuff like that, and that's the fun part.
And the other thing, I don't even know. Like, I know Spiro does a show. I don't know Justin. I know he does a show, and I know you've been on it. Finn's been on it, and a bunch of like people that I know have been on it. I don't even think it was around when we were doing our thing. It may have been, or may have just been starting, or may have been smaller. It's obviously bigger now. So like,
yeah, I can't remember.
Had you been going on his show 2 years ago when we were doing the show together, I probably would have ended up on the show. But it's just timing, right? The timing wasn't great.
Don't ask me when any of that happened because I got no concept of time anymore. Like ever since, because I had my kid very close to like when COVID started. Ever since those two events happened, like things that happened last week feels like they were 4 years ago, and things that happened 4 years ago feel like they happened last week. So don't ask me when.
Exactly. Yeah. And
I've had anything
since then, so I've been preoccupied.
Yeah, there you go. Look at you over there. Ben asked, been listening for a couple of years now. Thank you very much. Love this idea and keep it up. My question, what's one absolutely random but vivid memory or experience that you have had with a random other Spartan that you know for a fact you have never seen or spoken to that person once before since then? Can be sports related, but honestly think it would be better if it wasn't, he writes. So thank you, Ben, for that question and the donation.
All right, you go first. I know we said we were going to alternate. You go first because I have a couple I'm kicking around, and I didn't settle on one. And I was like, I want to see if I can think of something again.
So I would tell the story that the one time I almost got run over by a car on campus in East Lansing was by Russell Bird, but that would break the rule because I almost got run over by a car twice in my time in East Lansing, and hand on the Bible. Both times it was Russell Bird behind the wheel. So if we're talking about only once ever and then never happening again, that would break the rule because it happened twice, 2 years apart. It was great. So I'm going to talk about
Russ was probably trying to hit you though.
Oh, you know what? That's a theory that I'm just going to take at face value. I probably would too. If I were him. I just got to go back to the story. Like, sophomore year, I didn't interact with this person, but his face is burned into my memory. This was finals week, first Monday of finals week. We're in the lecture hall, packed lecture, and usually attendance wasn't taken, so it was not packed at all. This kid walks in, head down, looks up, like a deer in the headlights, just sees 300 people in seats. He's like, oh no. Goes over to the professor. And he's animated. He's got the hands going. And this was like a tanner individual. He was paler than I was by the end of this 20-second conversation with the professor. And he sits down at the professor's desk and just starts looking around, just shaking his head, wondering what's going on. And then he just leaves the room, sprints out of the room. He had no idea it was finals week going on, which I don't know how you don't. Like, it is pretty well known on campus when finals are coming up. Like, look, I know that we're not an Ivy League institution and everyone's like, oh, hey, school over everything. But finals week? hard to not know that's when it is, but like this kid legitimate, I don't think it was acting. I think he legitimately had no idea that it was a final going on Monday. Never even opted to take it. Yeah, so that is instantly what pops into my mind of just met a guy once and yeah. So that's what I got.
Okay, I have two. One was 2012 before it was tailgate before the Notre Dame football game. I do remember that. And we had some fun. We got as the kids say, turned. We were turned up. We were
nice.
Turned up.
Get a check on that.
Yep. It's just, we're good. We're good. And I just remember walking over with some friends to a tailgate of someone who I had no idea who it was. And they gave me a bratwurst. And it was probably just the most normal average bratwurst you could ever remember.
Is this the story? It's just hard stop there. Like that's the story.
And just like it's just the person's face. It's like, and me eating the bratwurst, it's seared into my mind. It's the stupidest thing. It's like, I will never forget you.
Jesus, that really was the story.
It's just absolutely hammered eating a bratwurst and thinking it's the greatest thing you've ever eaten in your life. You're like, I have met God. Like you.
Yeah, I got it.
And then I never saw the person again.
Okay. Okay.
You asked for a vivid random memory of someone you never saw again.
That's it.
The other one was at a party, like welcome week-ish early in the year. So everyone's outside on the lawn, whatever. And Pace came up and started ticketing someone. I don't know if the person was at the party or not. And I just happened to be like standing in the general vicinity. And this kid came up and started unleashing a tirade towards this Pace officer that would make Tom Izzo embarrassed. Like it was, and I grew up playing sports in locker rooms, right? We heard all sorts of cussing and everything you could ever imagine. I was standing there like, Jesus, dude. It wasn't his car. It wasn't his car. No, it was just someone who
the love of the game. It was just the love of the game.
Like we all roll our eyes and hate Pace, right?
Yeah.
This man was like he must have had 7,000 parking tickets at his house.
I stand by no matter what he said, though. I second whatever he said. I guarantee it. That's wow.
And you know what? I was the only other. It was like we were like 20 feet away from the party, and I just was like, sorry, dude. Like, I'm not stopping him. Just
it ain't me.
Verbal tirade. I felt bad. And I was like, and I think about that like once every 3.5 months.
Okay.
Just remember that kid unleashing on that Pace officer verbally. It was insane.
So
random vivid memory of someone I know I never spoke to again.
Love that. Love that question too. Love the answers.
Brad, love the debate breaking out in the chat right now between Justin and J Dog of why Justin blocked J Dog.
Okay, I like this. Wow, this is no. You think I have the attention span to focus on answers, the questions, and then the chat? Like, no, I
unblock them.
Goldfish. Brad writes in
red cedar. Oh my God, Doug.
Brad. Oh heavens. Oh God. Oh wow. Oh, that's very fun. Brad writes in. He donated and a nice generous amount. It was 2 words. This is what he wrote. 2 words. Say arena. Say arena or arena. I will always have it as arena. I need to physically coach myself to say arena because arena, not arena. I talked with someone at the assembly call earlier today, Jared Morris, and I said, hey, yeah, between Assembly Hall and Mackey Arena, and I was like, I did it again. So like, I can't stop. I know it is unreal, B. Lawrence. I don't like doing this, but like I'm 30 years old. It's been seared into my mind the first 29 years of my life to just call it, like Joe Louis Arena. I don't know why.
It's so wrong. Matt, if there's like a funny picture with text on it that people like to share on the internet, what's that called?
It's a meme. It's a meme.
You finally got it. He finally knows how to say meme.
We're on the board. Let's go. We're clawing back slowly but sure. I remember in 7th grade one time, it was my turn to read, and I read thermometer as thermometer. And the whole entire class, including the teacher, laughed at me for a while, for a long time. Not that it still lives with me. Thermometer, yeah. So
thermometer, unreal.
What is it called? When you not phonetically, right? I don't know. I'm
phonetically.
It is okay. I was gonna say I'm just mentally becoming derailed right now. We're not even a third of the way done with these questions either, and I'm already starting to come undone here, which only means good things moving forward. Greek omelet. Greek omelet. Great name. Great question. Love the donation too. Much appreciated. MSU is a very special place. So who is on your Mount Rushmore of MSU football special teamers? Will, bat first, because I got my 4 written down in front of me.
I want to do all punters.
Yeah, understandable. Yeah,
but you gotta mix in some. So I'm gonna go heavy punter, but I'll mix in some others. Okay. Mike Sadler, I feel like it is gonna be squarely on there.
100%. Yeah.
I'm also going to, and I don't think this is recency bias. Bryce Behringer, because of the story, right?
That's my number 2 as well. Yep.
This is a walk-on. He was like a walk-on at Illinois, and then a walk-on here, or what, like a double walk-on, and then honestly, he got to kick a couple times in 2018, and you're like, yikes, we need a punter.
Yeah.
And then he just got better and better. And last year, like, whoa, this dude's pretty damn good. And then this year, it's a robbery that he didn't win the Ray Guy Award. He's probably going to be the top punter taken in the draft.
If they're smart, yeah.
Like he's going to get drafted. If not, he's going to be like a priority. Like he'll be on an NFL roster next year.
Yeah.
That journey for just like a random, like a punter, like it's awesome. And he was so good and really helped last year a ton and this year a ton. So maybe it's recency bias, but like just love the journey of Behringer.
Yeah.
So, and
those are my top 2. Yep. Yeah.
I had to get 2 punters, and we've had some good ones. Hartbarger was good, but like, up and down, and it's just like, I went Behringer.
Yep.
I want to get a return guy.
Okay.
And
Sowards.
Brandon Sowards is the only pick.
Let's go.
I'm gonna go Keyshawn Martin.
Okay, I like that a lot.
With just a tremendous shout out to how good Jaden Reed was. Yeah, I'm gonna go Keyshawn Martin. I mean, it just like, especially in a time when MSU football, it was just like we didn't have fast guys all the time in the early D'Antonio years.
You don't think so? You want to call him Speedy? Okay, all right.
Yeah. And it just like, I don't know. He had a couple punt returns, kick returns. Like he made a difference. He had some big impact moments. And just like for me, coming into my own as an MSU fan, like his special teams played a big role for me. So it's a little biased on my personal Mount Rushmore. And then, Doug actually threw it in the chat. I think you have to put Morton Anderson on there. Before my time, but he's a Hall of Famer in both Hall of Fames. And what did he kick? 63-yard field goal. And like the Detta winner. I don't even like, he just an absolute freak kicker. One of the greatest kickers in the history of football, probably should be on the special teams Mount Rushmore. With a nod to Michael Geiger and his kick at 2015 LSU.
You have to include the Hall of Famer. Yeah, that's nice. You have to include the Hall of Famer. It's a no-brainer, but I'm actually not going to, and I feel sick about it. So with that said, I'm going to cut against the grain, and I'm going to upset a lot of people. My 1 and 2 are the same: Bryce Behringer, Mike Sadler, of course, and this
Blake O'Neal. Blake O'Neal's a good one.
Oh, Blake O'Neal's a dynamite one. Oh. Yeah, that changes my. I'm going to put 5 heads in my Mount Rushmore. We're making the rules here.
Gotta grow. Blake O'Neal, the Blake O'Neal growth.
This might be
Big Mike. We do.
this might be prisoner of the moment. But Jaden Reed, like I don't know, and that might have to do with like a lack of good returners since Keyshawn Martin, and like this was just the breath of fresh air to the return game.
Nebraska last year is enough to like get consideration.
Yeah, 1000%, and just feeling that, oh my God, or Western Kentucky's kicks off the game with that return. Like it was just nice to have an actual return man. And last, we're going to do a history maker on the show as well. Yes, of course, he's the all-time points getter at Michigan State, but let's talk about what's important. Let's talk about what's important here.
Yeah.
The NIL deal that we inked with
Matt
Coughlin. So Matt Coughlin is going to be on the fourth head on my Mount Rushmore is Matt Coughlin. So there you have it. Yep.
Are you in the Google Doc? Or are you back on the screen?
I'm on the Google Doc now. Yep.
Okay. This is back in the chat's getting lively.
Yeah, I did see that. Hopefully took care of that. There's a button that can take care of that, so hopefully that is all settled there.
I'm with you, Big Mike. Yeah, and not just any NIL deal, a headline creating NIL deal.
Seismic NIL deal. Best $25 ever spent.
I cannot believe we paid him $25. We went back and paid him more money after that.
That is yeah, we did. Yes, we did.
off of that tweet and his abilities, and his just incredible beard and mullet combo. He became a barstool athlete with our help, I think.
So, he did.
And I'm sure they gave him a just amount of money.
The bar was set pretty low.
We did not think it was going to be like that.
Goes without saying. No. Will Krewall writes it. Gotta love Will. Will's an all-time person. I covered him back in my day at Port Huron. Nice. He writes in. That's right. Oh yeah, that's right. MSU hockey is the last team of the four major sports to win a national title. What would it take for Lockdown to run a hockey segment at least once a week? First, I'm going to address that. Sorry, Will, that we haven't gotten to hockey as much as you guys would have liked, but we did have an episode yesterday with a little bit of hockey talk, so hopefully that quenches the thirst of any of that. And then he goes on to write,
right?
Sorry,
like, you know they're good, right?
Oh yeah, like on the cusp of NCAA tournament.
Yeah, they're one spot below. Like they're on the bubble. They're the bubble team. They're good.
Yeah. And if you want more of that conversation, hey, Brad LaPlante of Spartans Illustrated. We talk about all things bubble, Big Ten tournament on yesterday's show, so go check that out as well.
Big postseason for them. Like the Big Ten tournament for the first, like it's always been like they have to win it. But like this is big. They're gonna have a big series, and I'm actually like I watched them play U of M the other day on TV. Like when they're gonna be on TV, I'm gonna be locked in, man.
Gotcha. And Will also writes in, and if you don't like that one, how about this? So we like it. What is your favorite sports memory on campus that doesn't involve basketball or football? I took this in two different ways. Will, do you want to kick this one? Oh, wait, no, you kicked off the last one, so I kicked this one off, right? So I took this.
I don't have one.
Okay. I'll just have two then. Okay, so two different ways, because one was like watching an MSU varsity sport play, not basketball or football, and one was participating in one. The first one that I saw when I was at the State News, this was 2012 or 2013. I covered field hockey. It was great. Very fascinating sport. I saw the most brutal injury of any sport I've ever seen in my entire life. I think I've shared the story before, but here we go again. This girl was winding up for a slap shot. And she came down and, was about to make contact with the ball, but someone poked the ball at the end, at the last second. But while poking the ball away, also tripped. What replaced the ball on the ground was her face, Will. Full bore slap shot directly to the face. I've never seen anything like it.
That's your favorite memory?
Well, okay. Was it favorite memory, or it just really sticks out? Yeah, it was favorite sports memory. That's nice of me. That's really nice of me. So I like blunt force trauma to the cheekbone.
This woman get all of her teeth removed, courtesy of field hockey stick.
Okay, it wasn't teeth. It was just probably a shattered orbital bone. But shoot, yeah, I really should have read that question closer. But another favorite memory is was another beatdown. This was our freshman year. We decided, hey, intramural softball, 11th floor, North Hubbard. Let's get a team together. Let's do it. It's single elimination immediately in IM softball. On our floor, we had 2 or 3 guys that played high school baseball. And I was one of them, if you want to know like what this team looked like. Our first game, Will, in single elimination playoffs immediately, was the MSU club baseball team is who we were playing.
That's not fair.
These guys were hitting the ball so far. These balls were landing in Bath Township. It was, honest to God, it was 27-0 after 2 innings. I don't even think we were able to hit around our order. So some kids signed up for IM softball, never even had an at-bat that season. So because the Mercy was like 30 after 3 or something like that. And we were going 3 up, 3 down. And these guys were having a carousel around the bases. So that's our favorite because that was humbling. That's when I realized like, oh man, you can get put in your place really quickly here on a campus as big as this, whether it be in a classroom or at Munn Field. Yeah. Oh God, that was scarred.
I mean, I played IM hockey, but I don't have any like favorite memories or anything, any real memories of that.
Yeah.
Going to a couple hockey games, but it like we were bad then, so I don't have any good memories.
But they were still fun to go to, though. They were a lot of fun.
I had a buddy who was on the team, so like we went to a couple, and like then he got hurt and wasn't playing. It's like, well, what's the point?
Gotcha.
So yeah, I don't know. Golfing at Forest Acres.
I love golfing at Forest Acres.
Yeah, like shooting 78 on the west, something like that. There you go.
True.
Yeah,
you're a stick. Oh my God! Wow,
I worked there.
Wow.
Yeah, I worked there when I was at MSU for a couple of years.
I hear the West Coast is pretty tough though. So good on you. Good on you.
A fight in an IM softball game because they intentionally walked our best player. That's insane.
Oh, that's nice.
College dudes are just so aggro. We're just all pent up.
Hey, it's tough out there for us. Yeah.
It's a bunch of washed up athletes who feel like they got slighted and couldn't go D1 because they got slighted. And like, let me show you on this softball field. I wish I would have played IM soccer, ripped both my hamstrings. That would have been fun.
Oh, IM soccer was a hoot. We got blasted every single game. Yeah.
Didn't play enough IM sports.
Yeah, God, I miss it so much. Just the IM sports, even though we got humbled 9 out of 10 games, like in any sport we ever played. Like I miss it so much. Michael writes in, my question is, if I took a fireball shot for every MSU football win this upcoming year, how drunk would I be on a scale from lightly buzzed to crying happy tears inside Conrad's? Love that. That's pandering right to us. That's great. A little bit of football for Will, a little bit of binge drinking for, well, here's me, I guess. Yeah.
Here's how I would describe it. You would be texting somebody that you're at Conrad's, but in reality, you're at Crunchies.
Okay. So
that's pretty hot.
8 shots. That sounds like an 8-shotter. 9? That's a 9-shotter. Wow. Okay, because I'm at like leave the stadium. Get in an Uber. You're talking about, hey, this is going to be awesome. We're going to go out. We're going to go back to Rick's. Don't worry. We're just going to go back to the house, change really quick, and then leave. And then you're just at the house, and you're just a little too sluggish. You're slow, and you just end up playing NBA 2K the rest of the night. So, like, I'm at, like, 5 or 6. Like, you're drunk, but, like, you're not, like, raging, ready to go nuts. You're kind of just realizing, like, I'm at cruising altitude right now.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I'm like in the sick. You're more optimistic about next season than I am. Goes without saying after those 2 answers.
Yeah, I would also accept as an answer, leaving tailgate, going back to the house, saying you'll meet up in 2 hours, and then waking up at 10:30 p.m.
Okay. That seems all too
in
real.
In a sweat with like no pants. You're like, wait a second.
Yeah, hold it. Yeah, wait. Game, and like you're seeing the highlights of the game on the TV that you just passed out in front of you. Like, is that from last week? Oh my God, that was today. I missed the game. Like, oh golly,
you wake up to like Alabama's beating freaking Tennessee 35-7. You're like, wait a second.
Yeah, this doesn't seem all too right here. Joe Ashworth writes in, we all know MSU is the most beautiful college campus, regardless of the time of year. What are some seasonally specific spots you love or are special to you? For me, North Campus by Beaumont Tower and the Botanical Gardens in late spring just before exams are pure perfection.
Is that seriously what they wrote? They said north by the tower and the Botanical in the spring. That's literally my two answers.
That was the answer key. Yeah, right.
Yeah, Botanical Gardens in the spring, right before exams, and then North Campus in the fall. Spring or fall. Spring or fall is fine. Fall, I always was preferential to. I just loved walking through the trees and like leaves are falling a little bit. There's some color. Like those, those are my two spots. Easy.
Mine is Shaw Lane anytime there's more than 8 or 10 inches of snow on the ground and just watching the Cata bus drivers do their work. There was a freshman year snowstorm back in 2010 or 11 where I can't believe school wasn't canceled. Maybe it was and I just forgot, but I was walking on Shaw back home and like these buses in just unplowed snow were just masterpieces. And I've always respected the transport industry, but like these guys are pros. These guys are better drivers than F1 drivers. It was unbelievable. So Shaw Lane during any snowstorm is just a fantastic place to be. But I thought about this. We answered it right off the top here. But just anywhere in a neighborhood in East Lansing, St. Patrick's Day, or that first warm weather day in the spring, which usually meets up. So I know this is the second time talking about it, but yeah, that is 100% what comes into mind. Besides North Campus, Beaumont Tower, Botanical Gardens. Because those are truly the answers.
There is also a simple beauty to walking by any house whose front yard had turned entirely to mud.
That was the best. Like by the end of the year, you could tell like where the actual people lived and then where the students live because like it looked like you were tilling corn in the front lawn by the time like April ran around, you know? So yeah, that's
Spiro wants to ask another question without paying or with credit. Like he wants to send more money, but he has to leave soon. He said that in the chat.
Oh, he did? Okay. Did he ask the question or oh god, I can't wait to hear this one.
He didn't ask the question. But like people are going after him, man. Apparently Justin blocks a lot of people.
Oh no. I don't know.
A lot of people have been blocked by him or in the chat. So Spiro, throw in another question. Throw in another question and then we'll answer it after this next
one. Here's one. This is from Karen, who actually asked the first question. She asked, should the game be played Saturday? Obviously it was. So reach back out to her, say like, hey, if you want to ask another question, feel free. So thanks a ton too for a second question, a very generous donation as well. But this is more of like a serious question. This tragedy hurt us all so deeply. Do you see sports as a uniting factor to healing eventually? And besides Izzo, should Tuck also take more vocal leadership role? Thank you for doing this. # Spartan Strong. Again, I got no attention span. Who's going first on this question? Crap.
You.
Okay. In two ways, I'll answer this because kind of two-part question. Do you see sports as a uniting factor to healing eventually? Any little thing helps, right? And I think it's a no-brainer that everyone here listening to this is kind of united by sports. A lot of us started as fans. A lot of us even grew that into going to Michigan State. Some of us became sports fans by going to Michigan State, or if you never went to state at all, you're still in this community just for being a part of Spartan Nation. So anytime we could all rally around, yeah, absolutely. And that next basketball win, when it happens, I should say if it happens, knowing how much I jinx things here, it's going to be a great moment. It's not going to fix everything. It's not maybe even going to put a dent in things, but it will be something to smile about. No question. And even on Saturday night, we saw for 2 hours, you could just put it on as a distraction, if you will, to everything that's happened. And getting back into that normalcy helps some people. I'm one of those people, just personally speaking. So yes, I think so, just because sports mean a lot to me, as they do to probably many of you. The second part, besides Izzo, should Tuck also take a more vocal leadership role? He has been pretty quiet. It actually took him a few days to even tweet something out, which I thought was interesting. Like, I wasn't mad by it. I wasn't angry. Like, what is sitting on his hands? Like, everyone grieves differently, and it's odd because he's still kind of the new guy in town, and this was also probably more up the road for Tom Izzo, the guy who has always worn his emotions on his sleeves, has always spoken from the heart, never from a statement, unless, of course, it was the vigil that I think he referenced. That was like one of the few times he's ever done something like that. But he never strays away from a microphone. He's always very honest. Listen to any press conference. Okay, these things will go from 5 minutes to an hour and a half because he won't just stop yapping. So I think it was important for him to be there. And also, too, this guy's the best figure that we have and will ever have, at least in our generation. I mean, no, he's not a school president. No, he's not. He is Michigan State, though, whereas Tuck, him in press conferences, a little more buttoned up. It doesn't really wear the emotions on his sleeve when the going gets really good or when the going gets really tough. So I just think that is who he was. He was there at the vigil. It's not like he was sitting at home or anything, hanging out. So it's just a different way of grieving. And yes, I know that he makes the most money at Michigan State, so maybe you want to hear a little bit more, but it might even just come off as not disingenuous, but not authentic, I guess, or just maybe uncomfortable is the best word to say. So it was just more of Tom Izzo's alley.
I think people would be surprised because like the social media presence and the different sort of like the shoes and the watches and like he always like he there's a certain persona and image with Tucker, in that he's a cool guy. I don't think he's like the most comfortable orator, right? Remember his intro presser seemed really like uptight and nervous.
Yeah, sure.
His press availabilities, there's occasionally like I've seen some joking and stuff like that, but
far and few between.
It's not like Izzo goes to press conferences and like kicks up his feet and is like, "This is my jam. Let's chat. What's up?"
He might as well have a beer on the podium when he's doing these things.
I have some things to say, and I just don't think that's Tuck's personality. So I'm not surprised that he wasn't a part of the dais, if you will, for the vigil. That's much more like university president, different board member leadership, and then like Tom Izzo, who's been at the university since the 90s or earlier than that.
Right.
But like has just like he'll be buried like at Munfield, right?
Yeah.
So it's like it's just different. If it was like D'Antonio and he had been here for 15 years, then maybe he's up there too, right? Because that's a longer established period. It's more of a connection there. But even then, like I wouldn't have been surprised had it just been Izzo if it was still D'Antonio or someone who's like Susie Merchant's been, although she's had some health stuff. Like there's been coaches who've been around campus for a long, long time. It's just different with Tom Izzo. Like
100%. Yeah.
And
Justin Thind also. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Go ahead.
I was going to say, Justin Thind wrote a great comment in the chat here, which I am checking now. It's great. When Tate Muir was killed, of course, that happened at the Oxford High School incident. When Tate Muir was killed, Mel did an interview with Yahoo's Dan Wenzel. Dan said he cried the whole time, and it was very difficult for him. Possible that Mel doesn't feel comfortable with this topic. So, that's probably the best explanation.
I mean, it's just I wouldn't have been able. Yeah, I wouldn't have been able to go up there and talk. There's a lot of people there. It's a really big moment. And yeah, I am not surprised anyone would be not wanting to do that. And he was there. Like it didn't even register for me as like an issue of any type.
Sure. Yeah. Definitely, one of curiosity, just because it is two coaches taking two different avenues, stuff like that. And then, like you said, Mel's always tweeting about the watches, the shoes, but there's a big difference between marketing and just being who you are. So that's one lesson of it right there. Teresa wrote one of my favorite questions. She wrote one of my favorite questions.
Wait, we got to get to Spiro's. Spiro asked,
he wrote it? Oh, cool.
Yeah, I got it. Well, the chat's been flying. He asked if you could bring back one shuttered establishment from the East Lansing area, what would it be? This is a hard question because since we left, you and I both left like what, 14, 15?
Yeah.
9 years ago.
It might as well have been 69 years ago. Like campus is so different. It's crazy.
40 different things. It's like, it's totally different, but I have an answer. I'll go first actually.
Please.
Menace is a great answer.
It is.
I saw that someone threw Menace in the chat.
Stephen Barry's Doug writes in.
Stephen
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Now we're talking. Let's go.
Yeah. Put Conrad's back in the old location, says Jason. Here's mine. And it's a technicality, but I think it counts.
Okay.
The Taco Bell on Grand River, next door. Put it back across the street in that terrible old building.
Yeah.
We don't need a nice Taco Bell for 47,000 drunk college students to run into.
Don't gentrify our Taco Bell.
No,
Don't gentrify our Taco Bell. It's fine the way it is. Yeah.
Put it back in that old school, disgusting building.
Never clean the windows. Yeah.
Never
don't mop
clean
the
anything.
floors. No.
Yeah, I don't want to walk into a Taco Bell and I'm like, whoa, is this marble countertop and this tiling looks great? Did they grout this by hand? No, I want to walk in there and be like, that person just threw up on the floor. Yeah. Give me a taco.
Yeah, and that's going to stay there for 5 days.
Oh, right. That's the old Taco Bell is just gone now. Oh, that's sad.
Incredibly heartbreaking. I don't. Oh boy, this is so stupid. I'm going to say it though. Gumby's. I can't believe I'm saying it. It was just cardboard with red crayon on it, and then like something that tasted like pepperoni. Like, it was
Goomba.
Gumby's or Goombas, whenever you went there. I was there during the transition, but like that's a staple.
I was there for the transition.
That is like a total old man on his porch. Like, oh, these kids these days don't understand the grind of eating Gumby's or Pokey sticks. The Goomba sticks were fine, but here's the thing. I have a hot take. You ready for this one? Is everyone sitting down here? Everyone raves about Pokey sticks or Goomba sticks, depending on when you went there. Everyone thinks that they were the greatest thing of all time. And this might have just been incredible strategy on Gumby's part. I think they were considered so good because the pizza was so terrible. Yeah. It's like you have a pizza, it's like, this is atrocious. And you have a breadstick, it's like, so I'm having a time of my life right now. But no, pair it up to like Domino's cheese bread or Crazy Bread from Little Caesars. Like, it would be a distant third to any of those. So yeah, but
Gumby's or Goombas.
I'm gonna do it.
Yeah, it's the worst pizza I've probably had in my life. Outside of
so much of it.
Yeah, there was like a gas station that probably could top it in terms of worst, but like, if I'm going somewhere, that's the worst place I've ever gone to specifically get pizza.
Over and over again. Over and over.
I've only had Gumby's like twice.
Yeah. Oh, I had it at least a baker's dozen times. I think I've gone there. Oh yeah, I've gone there. I think 13 times, and 12 of the times I said, "Why am I back here?" Next thing you know, it 2 weeks go by. Hey, I'm back.
In order for me to get there, I would have had to drive past like 2 Little Caesars. The math just doesn't make sense. Like, I'm just going to Little Caesars, man.
Matt C has a comment that it's now story time with Matt again. He says, Sheehan, how many times did you pass out on the Goombas or Gumby's delivery driver? Never did I pass out on them, but one time I walked all the way back to my house. This is like a 2-mile walk back to my house from a party, and I'm like, I get to my house, I don't have my keys to unlock the door. And my 2 roommates are out of town. I'm like, oh my God. So I call Goomby's, I'm waiting there. Hour and a half goes by. I'm like, all right, great, awesome. Get off my porch. As I stand up, a jingle in my pocket. I'm like, are these my keys? I was just sitting outside my house with the keys in my pocket the entire time, just waiting. I was 58 sheets to the wind, having no idea where they were. They were just in my pocket, Will. So at least I didn't walk all the way back to the party and catch keys that I had on me the entire time. But yeah, so that's the kind of noggin we're working with over here. Teresa writes in.
Anthony, send it in the chat, Anthony.
Oh God. Thank you for doing this, Will. Appreciate it. God, we needed you back. Teresa writes in, what one story about the time you were at MSU best explains who you are today?
You have to go first because I have to think about that. Best
That's fine.
Who I am today.
So I like to think that people like me think quickly on our feet. We're creative, and then we improvise. Other people call that just slackers and procrastinators, but I digress. We'll get to it eventually here. 2 stories, one wholesome academia, another one not so whatsoever. Is the first one is that I had a PowerPoint presentation and a 5-page paper due the following morning on a book that I never even cracked open.
Why would you?
I started it at 12:30 in the morning, and it was due at 3 p.m. that day. And Will, we got it done. We got a 96% on that thing. Thank you, Spark Notes. Thank you, Cliff Notes. That was incredible. Also, one time before a class, I'm catching up with a friend. He's like, "Hey, what did you end up writing about too for this assignment?" What? Excuse me? What? Yeah, we had to do a 500-word essay on whatever you choose, and it was 6 minutes before class. Logged into Angel, which that's a throwback right there. You talk about the most unreliable website of all time. Logged into Angel.
God, Angel's a nightmare.
This is when I learned how fast I could type too. Banged out a 500-word essay in 6 minutes about procrastinating and how you just get through it. So there's the two wholesome examples. The other one too, senior year, I covered the basketball team for the state news. We were going to do a road trip, which was very rare for us. We were going to drive to Madison, Wisconsin on Saturday morning. Friday night, absolute rager at the state news house. And believe me, those were good parties because we were overworked and incredibly underpaid. And we got through it the best way functioning alcoholics know how. That is by drinking until 4 a.m. I didn't do any packing. We were supposed to hit the road at 5:30 a.m. Slept for 89 minutes. Got a call on my phone like, "Hey, we're in your driveway. Where are you?" And so I had to pack everything in 90 seconds and then got in the car. I went through the stages of drunk, hungover, and sober by the time we got to Madison. I was not driving. I was in the back seat. But a lot of procrastinating at state and the rest of my life, Will. I know it's going to shock you. So that's what explains me, I guess, for my time at state.
Mine are so lame.
Oh, shoot.
So we were actually talking.
Make one up.
We were talking about this recently. I don't remember what it was. Someone, the prompt was like, what was the best attempt you made or the best way you cheated on an exam or something like that. And someone put in there like that they swiped some code or something and like were able to get access to like the teacher back end protocol and tried to change their grade, but couldn't because they needed like a final password or something like that.
Yeah.
And I was like, I literally never once tried to cheat in college. I went to class and did my homework.
Weird, strange. I'm not gonna talk any further. I don't want my diploma revoked. So keep going.
Before I sort of got my caring about school together, I did have one class. It was like the history of war, something like that, art of war, history of war. I agree, Trevor.
We're lame people. I don't know what you want from us.
I don't know. And I wanted to see if I could. It was a big lecture hall. They didn't take attendance, and I was like, all right, let me see if I can go to 0 classes and pass this. Because she gave out the schedule, syllabus, test 1, test 3, final. And I went 0 days of class and got a 3.5 in that baby.
Spartans will.
Zero did not go to a single day, did not read a single piece of homework or item or anything like that. I paid like $1,800 to take 3 tests. Got a 3.5.
College is great. This is a football question, Will. This is going to be right in your wheelhouse. This is from Adam. He writes in, "This will teach me to defer to my 9-year-old son. But is there a path for MSU to reach an OSU level of consistent national title contender in football, or is that a closed case?" This could be a lengthy answer, or it could be a short one, or it could just be a quick one. Like, no,
honestly,
next.
Probably not. But
okay.
Yeah, it's like so hard because even Clemson, who's like Clemson's new money.
Yeah.
Even you've seen with them, like even with a place like Clemson, their gaps form. It's not consistent every single. Like Ohio State's a machine because it's every single year a top 5 class.
Right.
And same with Georgia and Alabama. And that's impossible to get to unless you're like Alabama or Georgia or Ohio State.
Those guys.
You're going to pull a class that ranks like 12th. And it's just going to not develop properly. And someone's going to transfer. And then someone's going to get an unexpected injury. And then all of a sudden you're like, wait, our junior class has like a 7th round pick, 2 5th round picks, and a 3rd round pick. And then you're going to win 8 games instead of 12, right? It happens to everyone. So probably not in terms of like a realistic path to be that. But that's not to say Michigan State doesn't have the capabilities, resources to be similar to Clemson in being a top 8 to 10 program, and you're recruiting really well. And oh, look, you signed the number 4 class in the country. That's great. And then the next year you sign the number 11 class and you win 11 games. And then one year it just all adds up and you got a couple transcendent guys and you're in the playoff and oh my God, you're in the national championship game and you're really great. Right. That I think is within, that's the more like, if you want to talk about winning a national championship at Michigan State, it's more that it's sort of being consistently excellent, not the elite tier, one notch below that, and then just having it all come together like once every 7 years where you're like, oh, instead of being 10-2 and really good, we are undefeated. We went to Ohio State and beat them by 7. Like, oh my God, this team is actually has 3 first-round picks. This team has 12 pros and that are top 150 NFL prospects, right? Yeah. That is a much more obtainable thing than like year in, year out, you're going into the last game of the season, like playing for a spot in the playoff. I don't think that's a realistic possibility.
Or do the TCU route, just pray that you play 5 teams with their backup quarterbacks. You play in a not watered down is mean to say. The Big 12 is fine, I guess, but like it's tough doing that when you're in the Big 10 East to have that string of luck. And then, well, when you get to the actual stage, don't play Georgia. It's that simple. But it is. I brought this up a few weeks ago when we had a similar conversation of this. But man, recruiting is not the end all be all of everything in college football, but it's a great indicator. Michigan State. Hey, we feel good about this recruiting class, right? Will 9 4-stars, like that is a historic class for Michigan State. Really good. Okay, Alabama had 9 5-stars in this class. Well. They had 9 5-stars in this class. They had 18 4-stars. Georgia 5 5-stars. So 17 4-stars. Like it, like not only are what you've seen on the field, like the eye test of what you see in the college football playoff and the national title game, the SEC championship game. Not just that, because it does seem like a different sport than what MSU plays sometimes. Yeah, but then you're in the offseason. All right, how do we get there? Oh, this is how we get there. Oh my God, they're already 100 more miles down the road than we are. So it's just. It's almost helpless, but hey, TCU did it. TCU? Almost, kind of. They got there at least. They were at the party. They got bounced out immediately, but they were at the party. They heard at least 2 songs from the DJ before they got kicked out.
And remember, this is like this era that we're in of college football, whatever you want to call it, transfer era, NIL era. It's pretty different from even 15 years ago, right? I mean, like, recruiting certainly mattered, but like it was we were just like, maybe we're coming out of it. We'll see. This is the caveat I want to get. We're in an era right now where the top talent, the very top recruiting talent is consolidated to 4 or 5 schools. In 6 years when NIL is actually, hi dear. That's my wife. When NIL is actually on a solid foundation, we all know what the rules are. And Miami's been put on probation 7 times, right? Maybe there's a path where it's like, oh, okay, the top 50 recruits, they're now all spread out to 20 schools instead of 7 schools, right? Mm-hmm. Maybe that could happen and it sort of flattens and levels out the playing field. Because again, it wasn't this 16 years ago. It was a bit more balanced. You remember 2008? Remember that season?
Carnage.
USF was number 2, Boston College, or maybe it was 07. Like it was a bit of a random year, but like that would never happen now. Mm-hmm. That could never happen now, where 19 teams are ranked number 2 or number 1 at a certain point.
How's Florida hanging out at number 2? You don't foresee that happening in the near future? No, shoot, no. That's a shame. Darn. With that said, though, hey, Emotional DJ writes in a question that funnels right into this. With all that said, Will, okay, you ready for this? What year will MSU football win their next national championship? Say 2024. Say it, you coward. Say it, you coward. Come on, let's go. Give us a headline, Will. That's a long pause. That's a deep sigh and a long pause.
I've actually laid this out to someone before because we were having like a discussion like about this sort of stuff.
Yeah.
And I was like, all right, here is the teeny tiny teeny path to Michigan State winning a national championship. And this is 22, 23, in 2024. It's like a 0.001% chance.
He's gonna do it. Hold on, let's do this again.
This is the path. No. Come back. I don't like it. I don't like it. Okay. This is the path. It is revolving around, and we have no idea if this is going to even be the case or if he can even play football.
That's a good start. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
It's going to revolve around, it's going to require Caden Hauser being some form of a Deshaun Watson type quarterback.
Okay. Step one, easy.
Specifically because Clemson was really good and had a bunch of really good players, but he was a transcendent talent that like just took them over the top.
Mm-hmm.
And in recent memory, like Vince Young is another good example of that, like really great team, and he was just transcendent. That'll happen occasionally where Cam Newton is the other one. I was like, there's another one that I'm not.
Oh, sure.
Cam Newton.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
That can happen where you have a really good team that is, with above average quarterback plays, an 11-2 type team, like really good. But instead of an average quarterback, they've got a special talent who is not just like Trevor Lawrence is a special talent, but Trevor Lawrence on Michigan State last year, it's like they're a really good team, but they're not winning the title. Cam Newton, Vince Young, the way they played, like they just elevated everything and were an unstoppable force. So it would require him to be that level of player,
mm-hmm.
which is a huge ask.
No, it's easy. No, come on.
And I think Caden, his high school film was great. There was only 2 quarterbacks in the class that I would have taken over him.
Okay.
And this is not revisionist history. You can find the text that I sent you. That is not to you in the DMs. Cade Klubnik and Drew Aller were the only 2 guys, and then it was Caden.
Those guys are good. Those guys are really good. Yeah.
Trevor says he has to get past the transcendent Noah Kim, who might be better. We have no idea.
Hey, now, let's go.
Yeah.
Yep.
If Noah Kim is one of those guys, great. I'm just using Hauser because he was highly touted and he's
love that Trevor. Let's go.
So in theory,
Kim is him.
Let's say he's that, right? And he wins the job starting as a redshirt freshman, and Michigan State goes 9-3 this year, 10-2, like just wins 3 more games than anyone thinks they're supposed to.
Okay.
With that, the recruiting class that they're currently building with the 24s, which is good.
I would say so. Yeah.
Yeah. Is it 24s? What recruiting class are we in?
Yeah, that'd be 24s. That would see that season. Yeah.
Yeah. 22. Okay.
Yep.
Okay. Anyway.
Say it with conviction. Say it with conviction. Say it with your chest. Come on.
So with that, the recruiting momentum that's going on with the 24s continues, and they end up signing Nick Stone and all these guys, right? And end up with, let's call it the number 9 class in the country, number 8 or 9 class in the country, which I think is too lofty. I think they end up somewhere around 15. But let's say they do that. They sign a top 10 class. The year after that, they've now stacked 3 each recruiting class has gotten better. So the 22s, 23s, and 24s, you're looking at a pretty decent core, like a core that is a pretty good team. A group of 6 bowl game or New Year's 6 bowl game team, right? And you add on to that now a second-year starting quarterback in Caden Hauser, who in theory is like this transcendent talent. You're like, holy crap, this is a fringe college football playoff team, right? Again, small, tiny path. Then this is what it would be for me.
Big path.
Big path.
Big old path.
You've now stacked together back-to-back like double-digit win seasons. You've won a New Year's 6 game. You're in the playoff type thing. You're not quite there, but you're riding this really good quarterback who's now, instead of going to be a top 10 pick, decided he wants to come back to Michigan State for his 4th year as a redshirt junior with another recruiting class in the fold. That's going to be, after these back-to-back seasons, getting the playoff. If Mel Tucker makes a playoff at Michigan State, he's going to sign like the number 5 class in the country.
Oh. It's
I feel like he will. So we've stacked together like the 22nd best class, 17th, the 9th, and now we've got the 4th best class. Those are the 4 classes compromising right now, with a bunch of experienced guys who went to the playoff last year, weren't quite good enough, and a quarterback who is a transcendent talent who's going to be the first overall pick in the next year's draft. That is like the quickest path you can get to a national championship. Tiniest, like so minuscule path. But that would be the quickest path. It's just he's great. They keep winning and they keep signing awesome recruits.
Easy as that. Easy. Does
Russell Westbrook to the Clippers.
Wow. Oh, let Russ cook. Let's go. That's what I'm talking about.
That's a bad bet. That's a bad
No. Russell Westbrook, greatest basketball player of all time. Let's move it forward here.
I love him.
I love him like a family member. I love Russell Westbrook. Kevin writes in, now this is a lengthy question, but a fun one. Prior to the pandemic, my friends and I had a trailgate tradition where we would travel to a Power 5 school to watch them play a mid-major and root for the underdog. That's awesome. Just go right into the mouth of the beast. That's great. Now he has some good games here. The group went to Pitt versus Rice, and the last one we went to was the Georgia State upset in Knoxville against Tennessee in 2019.
That's awesome.
That's unbelievable. And he writes, we want to start the tradition back up. My question is, can you two help narrow down intriguing games this year for us in 2023? We want to factor in upset potential, campus game day environment, local nightlife, no FCS teams unless they're top tier, and no Power 5 versus Power 5. West Virginia and Penn State are usually thrown out as solid destinations, but unfortunately the schedule doesn't look good for either. So those teams. So with all that said, now before I answer this question, Kevin, nothing's going to beat 2019 Georgia State upset in Knoxville against Tennessee. That's unbelievable.
There, let's go Dogs or Panthers. Let's go Panthers.
Crazy. Now I might be breaking the rule. I got 4 right in front of me, and they're all September games. I might be breaking the rule with this first one, but God, this would be an awesome game to go to. It's Ole Miss, but not at Ole Miss, Will. It's at Tulane in week 2. Ole Miss at Tulane. I, quite frankly, don't even know who's going to be favored in that game, so it might not even be a thing where you're rooting for an underdog, but, like, you want nightlife? Okay, like, I think that's going to be pretty solid nightlife to where you are. Just campus, stadium, just where the program is at, coming off that Cotton Bowl victory. And then Ole Miss, the SEC team, that's always spicy, I think is a good way to put it. So that'd be a good one. Ole Miss at Tulane in week 2. I have 2 week 3 games highlighted. FAU at Clemson. I just think it'd be really cool to go to Clemson.
Clemson would be cool. That's there's no upset potential there, though.
Correct. So I'm really, using upset potential quite liberally here, but work with me. I was really going for campus and game day experience for that one. Yep. This one isn't Power 5, and I feel bad about that, but East Carolina at App State. I've only heard incredible things about anyone that's ever gone to Boone for a game at Appalachian State. That is an AAC game, I believe, and then the Sun Belt being Appalachian State. So no Power 5 there, but I just think that'd be a sweet game to go to. And then another one that is Group of 5 versus Power 5. Oh God! Unless does UCF enter the Big 12 this year? Crap, I might have.
No.
Okay, good. Okay, perfect. UCF at Kansas State. Go live it up in Manhattan, Kansas, week 4. That's right, baby. That's right. The old reigning Big 12 champs. So yeah, get on the Gus Malzahn train. Go get yourself a Citronauts shirt and sit down in Manhattan, Kansas. I can't imagine the nightlife is all too great there, but that would be a unique trip to take. So hopefully those are good options. I would maybe even say East Carolina at App State because, look, nothing's going to get better than that Georgia State at Tennessee upset. So those are the 4 that I've written down for this Trailgate tradition, which is awesome. Very jealous of this tradition.
Yeah, that's really – Trailgate's really cool and, like, a great name for it too.
It's great branding. Great branding. Hunter writes in. My question is I'm sorry.
You get to answer it, and I don't get.
That's on me. That is entirely on me. I'm sorry. Hand up on that one. Sorry. Go on.
I'm currently I'm at
that one. Sorry.
This is one where I should have looked it up better. So I've got here. Let me make sure this is accurate.
CMU at Michigan State.
CMU at Michigan State.
It's Richmond Spiders at East Lansing.
No, not quite. All right. I've got no, that was wrong. Hold on.
Jason just wrote in Miami of Ohio at Miami, Florida.
Miami versus Miami. I saw that. Oh,
if you get down to South Beach for any game, go for it. Yeah.
It's right. It was in week 1. I thought it was week 2. All right. My first one as I'm scrolling through the week 2 schedule is Coastal Carolina at UCLA.
Oh, that is a good one. Get in the
September
minivan
2nd.
and go over. Yep.
September 2nd at the Rose Bowl. We know, if you've been paying any attention to college football in the last couple of years, like, I know, yes, they lost their coach. Coastal's still going to be, I think, fun and interesting. Grayson McCall is back. He hit the portal, and he is back. And not that I think they're going to beat UCLA, because UCLA should be pretty good this year, right? But that's still super intriguing, and like a matchup you never see. The color clash of uniforms is going to be great. And it's the Rose Bowl, California weather. Like, I think that is a really good one. Maybe a little pricey on the trip range, but I think that would be a good one.
Yeah, that might be a little
slightly
pricey.
All right, I got another one here.
Okay.
This is fun. This is like a regional thing, historic stadium, and maybe some upset potential, and could be a lot of fun. How about going to Norman, Oklahoma, in an SMU pony shirt?
Ooh, I love that. Oh, God, that might be the answer.
That could be fun.
It might be the answer.
That could be fun, being an SMU fan. SMU is usually pretty good, right?
Oh, yeah, dude. And off the heels of a 6-6 season from Oklahoma, where Venables is kind of like already on somewhat thin ice. Like, be there for the ice breaking. Be there for the ice breaking. Oh, that's great.
There's a lot of potential in that game to be screwy, right? To get some very nervous Sooner fans. That they could win 60-7, 60-20, whatever. But
they also could lose 60-7.
If SMU goes to Oklahoma, and it seems like a really cool place to like go for a game, like one of those stadiums where like we've seen it on TV a bajillion times. It's just one of those things like, hey, that'd be a cool place to check out. If you get to go there and sort of see the nervous Oklahoma energy, remember when Army took them to OT a couple years ago?
Yeah. That was a pay-per-view game. Oklahoma fans paid $60 to watch from home.
and half of the appeal of it was watching the tension, like literally watching the tension. You could watch the tension.
That's great. College football is purest form.
Yeah. This is Group of 5 versus Group of 5, but UCF is traveling to Boise State this year.
That's a strong one.
That's interesting. I've always wanted to go to a game at the Blue Turf, and that's two like perennially strong Group of 5 teams, so that would be a fun one too. I'm going to keep looking at the list. I'm going to find another one or two, and I'll throw them out there, but you continue on to the next question.
Emery writes in a very fun one. How would you describe the colors green and white to someone who is colorblind? How would you describe the colors green and white to someone who is colorblind? I have my answer, but you are batting first. Do you want to defer, or do you want to answer this one?
Yep. White is bright nothingness.
Okay. One for one. Okay. There we go.
Green is strong and sturdy, but not overbearing.
Oh, wow. Okay, we took this question differently. Okay, all right, here we go. Okay, showtime.
I'm describing it to a blind person.
Yeah, well, colorblind. So, like, they can
colorblind.
see.
Yeah, excuse me, colorblind. Sorry.
So, how would I describe? No, I'm going for it. I'm going for my answer here. So I would have the person close their eyes, or maybe even put a blindfold over them for like a good 20-30 seconds, get total blackness, and then I'd say, okay, you're good to open your eyes. And then right when they do that, well, bam, we hit them with a flashlight, and they're gonna be like, what was that all about? Like, did you see how bright that was? Did you see just blankness? Like, okay, so that's white. We're on the board there.
So okay, you're doing how you would physically show them.
Yeah, how I'd physically describe them. Which might not be what the question asked.
I don't know.
We're going for it.
I don't think it works that way.
We're pot committed, so we're going for it. Here we go. And then green, I would just keep on putting vegetables in front of them and then eating it, because like when you eat like a vegetable or something, like it just tastes like green, and I would just keep making them eat it until they understand. It's kind of like when there's like a language barrier and you're talking to someone that speaks only Spanish, but you want to say something in English. So instead of trying to relate with them, you just scream it louder and louder and louder, as if volume will make them bilingual all of a sudden. Like, I'm just going to keep force feeding them cabbage, spinach, green beans, if you will, until they understand like this is what green looks like. It looks like how it's tasting right now, and then just keep on force feeding them rabbit food until they give up. So I'm gonna partially blind them and then put them on a torture rack and shovel cabbage into their mouth. So yeah, it's very mean what I'm doing, but look, I'm trying to accomplish the task here. So yeah.
All right. I got a couple more for the Trailgate. Iowa State is actually playing on the road at Ohio next year.
Oh, that's wow. That's
so you can be part of the home crowd. Yeah, you can be part of the home crowd of a group of a MAC team trying to take down a Big 12 team. That's interesting. That could be fun. Georgia Southern at Wisconsin could be a lot of fun. I've never been to a game at Camp Randall, but it's a great venue. You know, maybe some upset potential there. This one has zero upset potential, but it would just be an all-time fun game to go to. Hawaii at Oregon.
Oh God, sure. Yeah, that's the vibes game. Vibes game.
Let's go check a game at Autzen, which is a great place, and put on a Hawaii shirt.
Yeah.
Stanford plays at Hawaii. There you go, Jason.
Get that Hawaii shirt from Home Field as well. I got a few Hawaii apparel items from Home Field. The next question, this is from Matt C., who I know is in the YouTube comments. He tweeted this at me during the show. Says, hope I'm not too late, and this is right for you, Will. I have very little to add to this one. I need to know from Will, in a nerdy X's and O's standpoint, why our pass defense is so horrible. Scheme versus players just not talented / intelligent enough to play the scheme. Will, diagnose and solve Michigan State's pass defense problems for Matt C. and for the rest of us, please. We're begging you. I know Matt C is begging you.
Matt, here's what I want you to do.
Me or Matt C? Okay.
Right. I want you to go find the drive chart, the play-by-play drive chart. Pull up your ESPN app. Go to Michigan State, Ohio State this past season. And look at the drive chart. Just look at the drive chart. You're going to notice at a certain point, there's a switch, a stark change. Ohio State goes touchdown, 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 touchdown. And then it goes punt, 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 punt. Okay? And I want you to ask yourself, Matt, what happened at that moment? Did the scheme change? Or did the talent discrepancy change? And that'll be your answer.
I'm sad again. What Marvin Harrison Jr. did to Chuck Brantley that night or that afternoon was it's like what do you do? Like that's a rhetorical and non-rhetorical question. Like what can you do?
Yeah, you just have guys who can't cover Marvin Harrison Jr.
I just take the field with a baseball bat and try to break his legs. I that's the only thing I could possibly even think of to defend that day. That was a Sunday player making a play against a really solid Saturday player, and that was the difference right there. And that's what we're up against to go to national supremacy.
There's just not a great amount of talent in the room right now. And the way it's played, like the you can see they play a ton of off coverage, and they don't when they do press, if they play like single high pass or they throw a zero blitz or something, or even like a single high blitz where you're bringing just an extra guy, like it's hairy. It gets hairy quick. They get beat pretty. Like Chester Kimbrough has gotten beat quick. Like it happens quickly. They just haven't had good enough corner play, and in concert with that, the pass rush has been just sort of like inconsistent, I would call it. It's not terrible. It's just sort of been inconsistent at times, and so any quarterback who has time from receivers, any sort of zone drop, like the zone drops from the linebackers last year were consistently wrong, bad, mixed up. They'd run into each other. They'd run to the wrong spot. They'd play run. It was pass. Just all sorts of issues in zone and underneath coverage. And so what you just end up getting is like a shell defense that's like, okay, let's try to not give up a touchdown and hope they drop a couple passes, which is not great. So
no, it isn't. it's not fantastic.
That's right.
Will.
That's right. CJ Stroud and Marvin Harrison Jr. went to Kyle McCord and Reese Stocksdale. We can cover Reese Stocksdale, baby.
Suck it, Reese. I know Reese is listening right now. That's right. Suck it. That's right.
We could cover Reese. And they stopped throwing it.
Yeah, that's right. All right, so we got 4 more questions here. Doug writes in, this is a fun question for everyone. My question for tonight is, who is on your Mount Rushmore of Spartan sports? All-inclusive or by sport, your choice. Thank you again, Victory for MSU. And at Will, thank you for the name drop on the 6/4/20 episode of Locked On Spartans when Built Bar first became a sponsor. That is incredible memory from Doug. I don't even remember what I had for breakfast this morning. He's remembering your ad read from June 2020. So way to kill that one, Will. You're on fire. Do you want to bet first for your all Spartan Mount Rushmore, or am I the first one to dance here?
So this is just all, is it sports?
Yeah, sports. Michigan State sports. Yep.
Okay.
Yep, Spartan sports was the question. Yep, Spartan sports.
Okay.
Yep.
All right.
I got my 4. I'm ready to roll if you're not.
Okay. I didn't pregame this one. All right. So one I think is easy, and it's Magic Johnson.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
2 I also think is easy-ish. And it's not necessarily Magic's a lot of what he did great stuff in MSU won a title, but he became Urban Magic Johnson. I think for historical sports things, I'm gonna put Kirk Gibson on the list.
Oh, I like that. Okay. Yeah.
World Series champion multiple time and has one of the most famous sports moments.
Yep.
In terms of jaw dropping, we weren't alive for it, but I know I can't believe what I just saw. Right.
Yep.
It's absolutely historic. Can we do coaches?
Sure, absolutely. Yep.
All right.
I would say so.
Yeah, then Izzo's got to be on there.
Yep.
Izzo's got to be on there. So we got Magic Johnson, Kirk Gibson, Tom Izzo. Shoot.
I know. I mean,
Duffy.
That I had him on my honorable mention list.
I'll go with Duffy. And they won a ton, and the role he played in helping integrate major college football is certainly enough to get him on there. So yeah, I'm going Duffy for sure.
Yep. God, that's
Matt.
so strong. Thanks a lot, Matt. Yeah, thanks a lot for watching. Gear, appreciate the comment. Thank you everyone for watching too. God, especially if you're watching all 90 minutes. Oh God, you guys are sick puppies over there. But yeah, this is a lot of fun. Number one's Magic. Okay, that's if you're leaving Magic off your MSU Mount Rushmore, would love to hear an argument as to why you would keep him off completely. Izzo has got to be on there. I think that's number 2 for me. Mateen, I think, is number 3, just the national titles. But then, there are 80 people that you could have for 3 and 4, in my opinion.
And Mateen might be stronger than Gibby.
Yeah, so I'm gonna have Mateen
because his MSU stuff is stronger. But Gibson was 2 sports, and I know it was. Yeah, go on.
No, and so for 4, I've narrowed it down to 2 names for the 4th slot. Both might just be prisoner of the moment-ish. We are going on 10 years now since this first guy played, and that's Connor Cook, all-time winningest quarterback at Michigan State. So that's one for my generation. Well, I love Connor Cook more than life itself. So, that also. Oh, Connor Cook is that is my white whale to get on the show one day, Connor Cook. So, and yeah, of course, there's a massive bias beyond that. The Rose Bowl was my senior year. Of course, everything they did after. Yeah, I don't need to explain Connor Cook's. You guys already know.
I got a replacement for Gibson.
Okay.
Matt Ishbia.
That was the other name that I had. That was the other name that was on the outside looking in. It was Connor Cook or Matt Ishbia, the guy who's seemingly going to fund every single thing on this campus for the next few decades. So that was my 4th guy that I was between. Is it Connor Cook or Ishbia? Or honestly, if you really want to ask my personal thoughts, I just use all 4 heads on Kirk Cousins personally. But if we're going to have a somewhat serious dialogue about this, oh man,
Biggie Munn's another good one suggested by Trevor.
That's a really
and then
good
Joe
one.
Kearney,
Sure.
who was athletic director, who hired Ron Mason, Judd Heathcote, and Darryl Rogers.
Yeah, Strawn. We're missing a big one too. Bubba Smith also, but that has got to be a strong addition. So there's just way too many strong names, which is a good problem to have in Spartan country. So that's where I'm at right now. Number 1, Magic.
Yeah.
Number 2, Izzo.
Blair
Number
White.
3, Mateen. Blair White, that goes without saying. Max asked, can we get Will back more often? That's not a donation question. That's just a question we all have. Can we? You know what, Will? We're doing this every Monday night. We just locked it in, guaranteed. Actually, so sorry.
I'll come back. I'll do a pod on football during football season.
Let's go. We're so back. Curtis asks, my question is, what is your stance on Wolverine fans cheering on the Spartans in the tournament or any other circumstance for that matter? I'm a Michigan fan in Lansing. So thank you for crossing enemy lines here to ask that question and for your donation, Curtis. Much appreciated here.
We had a few Michigan fans donate, which is really nice to see.
Sure. Yeah. And the of love from all communities has been fantastic. So appreciate it.
If you're someone who's like, what was it? Like the state of Michigan man, was that Terry Foster who used to do that? I'm a state of Michigan man. Root for the both.
Oh, yeah, that was Foster, I think. If memory serves correctly. Yeah.
It's not my way of doing it, but I try very hard to not judge how anybody does fandom. If you want to paint your chest and be insane and jump through tables at a Bills game, great. If you want to watch one game a year and know the first name of like 3 players on the team and that's it, great. If you want to root for your team a little bit, root for local teams that you live near, or your dad went to school there, or your sister goes to school at Oregon, so I kind of like Oregon football, like that's fine. It doesn't bug me whatsoever. I'm much more bugged by fandom policing than not within these straight lines of fandom. Like you can venture around, you can like certain players, you can like a uniform. Like I really like Oregon football. I have no connection to Oregon football. Sue me.
You're gonna love my answer then. Nothing gets me more irrationally irate than those homes divided flag with like Michigan and State down the middle. See them all over my neighborhood. See them in any neighborhood that you drive to in Michigan. Those grind my gears for some reason. I don't have a good reason for it. It is probably a very fun rivalry, like in the house, like, oh, you have your team, I have my team. No, pick a side and stick there. But look, this is a question that's way different than if you would have asked this 8 days ago, right? Because what has happened this week? Okay, like for this tournament, Michigan fans rooting on the Spartans. It should, Michigan State make the tournament. Again, don't want to jinx anything on this podcast, but yeah, like there's obviously appreciation to that. Like, hey, we got your back, but like in times past, and then eventually this will pick up again in the future, where the rivalry will go back to what it is in football season and basketball season. But like when you have conversations with people, it's like, hey, I'm a Michigan fan. Like, you're on vacation, you're wearing a Michigan State shirt, you're running someone from Michigan. It's like, hey, I'm a Michigan fan, but I root for Sparty when you guys aren't playing us. And then like I'm just there like,
I know,
and then they're looking at me like
you're insane.
Well, and they're looking at me like, you're gonna say you root for Michigan, right? We're not playing, right? That's right. And like I've had actually some people say like, well, you root for us, right? Like, oh no, oh heavens no. If my own mother played for the University of Michigan, I'm still rooting against the University of Michigan. I will never root for you under any circumstance moving forward. So no, you're not going to get that energy bounced back.
What if your child plays sports at U of M?
Go green, baby. Let's go down.
No, you cannot.
I can. Oh
no.
Hopefully we don't have to run into this situation ever in life.
I hope you do. I hope your kid is a great whatever athlete, whatever sport, and gets a full ride to U of M, and that's where he wants to go. I hope that happens to you.
Can't make the game. I'm busy. I got something going on. I gotta clip my toenails. Then I'm sorry. I can't do it. So, but no, like, look. So obviously different to see Michigan fans, show their support for Michigan State around this week and in the upcoming weeks, of course. But typically Yeah, okay. That you root for us. That's great. Thank you. That's awesome. We don't need it. we'll root for us. So yeah. But
B-Lard says his Mount Rushmore, MSU Mount Rushmore is Derek Nix. That's the whole list.
Hard stop at Derek Nix.
Hard stop. That's good.
I like that.
I just wanted to real quick give it. It's so quick. Derek Nix in college tried a for pizza that my brother was delivering to him autographs. Total violation.
NIL pioneer Derek Nix.
NIL pioneer Derek Nix.
NIL.
My brother was like, "No, I need money."
That's United States currency.
This isn't my pizza, Derek. This is a Hungry Howie's pizza.
2 more questions, Will. Thank you everyone for watching, listening, donating. You guys are truly the best. Hunter. I know. Oh yeah, Will. Hunter writes, my question is about retiring jersey numbers. When do you think it would be the best appropriate time to hang up the number 5 for Cassius in Breslin? As a follow-up, how about Kenneth Walker? Do you think he also deserves his jersey to be retired? And if so, when? Thanks for doing this and being a great voice during this difficult time. No, thank you guys. The community has been awesome. So thank you for all your comments throughout the week as well. So, so Cassius and K9, where do you stand on either of those guys?
K9's an easy no, as much as I love him.
Okay.
As he was.
Mm-hmm.
If you're going to play at a school for 1 season and get your jersey retired, you need to win the national championship.
And the Heisman.
And he did everything. He was great, and he should have been a Heisman finalist, and he should have finished 3rd in the Heisman or whatever. And maybe if you alternate timeline wins the Heisman and Michigan State makes the playoff, okay, we can talk about it because he won the Heisman.
Mm-hmm.
But that's just a no for me.
It's hard to get in the Ring of Honor. It's hard to get in the Ring of Honor.
Yeah, dude. I got to retire Connor Cook before that.
C. Cook isn't up there. Right.
Yeah. Easily got to C. Cook before that. And I got a handful of other names I got to consider before Kenneth Walker. Cassius. Cassius is tough, man.
Very.
Do you think they retire Cassius?
I thought they would have done it by now, but it would have been pretty quick. They usually don't have that quick of a turnaround. Like Draymond, he had to wait almost a decade for his jersey to be retired. There's another name up there. Shoot, I wish I had it in front of me. I'm sorry I don't have it, but had to wait a few decades for his number to get retired when it should have been a long time ago. I'll see if I can pull it up here. But Cassius, I think answering these questions right after senior year was oh, of course, definitely. Yes. But you could be, of course, prisoner of the moment. Yeah, and you're just so sympathetic to everything he went through, his senior year, from what happened at the start of the year with his brother to the tournament getting canceled, an unwritten ending to his book. So it's best consolation prize, retire his jersey. But even now we're 3 years removed from that. I still feel I would retire his jersey, but
that's where
I don't think that I'm going to change. Yeah,
I'd lean that direction. It sucks he didn't have all his tournaments, because this could be a very easy yes had that tournament been played.
Yeah.
Because team was cooking. He was incredible. The team that played Ohio State on senior day, that team is a Final Four team and is one of the 3 teams that's playing the national one of the 3 teams that you would bet on to be the national champion.
Sure.
We all know what happened with COVID, so I can't hold that against them, but I also can't really. It's hard to credit him, so I'm leaning yes. A, for his accomplishments, but B, just for who he was and what we want our athletes to be in terms of leaders and representatives for the university. He was just the best, right? He was awesome. And he was an undersized point guard who was athletically limited, and you have no idea how he did what he did, but he just somehow
magic
turned himself into the best basketball player in the Big Ten for 2 years. And I just think for retiring a jersey, there's got to be a little extra oomph to it, right? Draymond is bleeding green. People will fight. We will have fights on Draymond's behalf
at the drop of a hat. Yeah. About anything.
Maybe that's the requirement. Would you fight on this person?
Oh, there it is. It's that easy.
I think I would fight on we've had plenty of people say crap about Cassius being not that good or whatever, and it's just like, no, I'll kill you. I swear to God,
I'll throw hands. Yeah,
yeah.
I'll throw some bones.
Yeah. So I think Cassius should go up. Yeah, maybe in like 2-3 years we can start planning it.
So
do it while Izzo's still here.
Justin Thin brings up Cassius deserves the Luka Garza exception clause for expedient jersey retirement. Luka Garza essentially got his number retired in the second half of his last game. That was crazy. But just to add context here, it's actually very.
What do you make? One Sweet 16?
Not even, I thought. No,
I thought he made one.
I don't think he did. I don't think he did.
Yeah.
So just for reference here, Scott Skiles, his career ended in 86. His number was retired in 98. So that was more than 10 years. Mateen Cleaves graduated in 2000. 07 was his retirement. Steve Smith graduated in 91. 1999 was his. So like there are gaps here. Even Jay Vincent. Jay Vincent graduated in 81. He had to wait nearly 20 years, 1999, for his number to be retired. So it's usually like a 8-9 year gap. It can get up there though. So that's just frame of reference. It's not just rare for Michigan State to do it immediately. It just doesn't happen. So I don't know.
Draymond 10 years. Draymond was 9 years.
It was 7 years. Sorry, graduated 2012, December 3rd, 2019.
I thought he went up in 2020.
Yeah, it was the 1920 season. I was there that night. That's right. MSU played Duke, and the game was over in 47 seconds. Great times. Hey, the ceremony was cool at halftime.
Trevor, Tragic Johnson. He says Tom didn't know what he had in Draymond. He kept calling him Tragic Johnson. Tragic Johnson's a compliment, baby.
Yeah,
it's a compliment, man.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, Skiles was a stud. Loved when he called Shoulder Fat Boy. My dad would tell me stories about Scott Skiles, and I guess there's one game at Mackey. A lot of people
tell you stories about Scott Skiles, man. He was nasty.
Yeah, I think there's one game. It was either at Mackey or Purdue was home, but like he was screaming at Gene Keady, "Get someone out here who can guard me mid-game," which is just the coldest line of all time. Get someone out here. This man is just begging for competition. Like, please, I'm so bored out here.
Skiles was like
5'3",
but he was like 6'1", right? Like he wasn't a big
even guard. 6. He was an even 6, I think. Yeah, I think so.
Like for him to like produce at the clip he did, and just like the career he carved out at MSU and in the NBA, like like that dude is just an animal.
A dog.
Aside from being like really good at basketball, he's psychotic. Right.
Yes. Yes. That's well said. Will, we're at the end of the road here. We got the last question, and we're going to end this one on, I think, what's going to be a heartbreaker for our guy, Jaron here. Poor Jaron. Thank you for your donation. I don't know if you're going to like this answer. Will we ever see the newsletter return? I really enjoyed the post-game football breakdowns. I'm a very casual football fan, and the newsletter helped me learn more about the game in any way that was easy to understand. I totally understand if you're not ready to return to it. I just miss reading your content. And Jaron speaks for a lot of us there. That was a great newsletter, but a lot of burnout with that, I would imagine. It goes without saying.
Yeah. I had like a draft half written on the newsletter.
Oh, he's back. He's so back. Let's go.
No, it was like 6, and there was a lot of like there was some worrying about the program and Mel Tucker and like, is this whatever.
Oh, was there? Oh
yeah.
I missed that. Okay.
What I did, like, it was just going to be a compilation. I actually made a Google sheet for this, and then that was going to serve as like the data basis. And it was a list of every scholarship player that signed with MSU out of high school. So I filtered out transfers in, and it was the recruiting ranking of all of them and where they all ranked and all that. And it was like, of the 25 best guys signed in the last, since like 2007, I think, of like the 25 best guys, like Mel Tucker had signed like 18 of them in 3 years.
Okay.
And it was like the breakdown of, okay, here's who's playing for MSU. Like, here's the average recruiting ranking of guys Michigan State signed that are playing. And it was like mid 3-star. It was like this recruiting class would rank 57th in the nation if it was like the aggregate ranking. So it was just spelling out like, hey, it just like, yeah, they've missed. Antonio missed on some guys. Tucker had a terrible first class. Antonio had a terrible last class. The 19 class, right? Dobbs, right? The 4 stars just didn't pan out in 19 or 18, and it was just give it time because there's not a lot of talent recruited by Michigan State, developed by Michigan State. There was like none. There was,
yeah.
I think they used 2 4 stars. Or no, it was Xavier Henderson and then Keon Coleman. And Keon was like 380 in the class, and he was underranked because he played at a tiny school. He should have been a 2 4 star, but like they had like 2 4 stars, and one of them got hurt and missed like half the year.
That'll do it. That'll do
it. I almost newsletter. So never say never. No. It'll be it's gonna be free, regardless if I do it again.
Look at that. So, well, before we end here, I know we don't have a lot of people watching. We just got a few dozen, but really thank you genuinely to everyone that's watched, even if it was just for a few minutes. This has been awesome. Will, thank you so much for coming up with this idea. This has been a lot of fun, nearly 2 hours of answering questions. We
raised $1,000.
Yeah. Gear wants to know, what is the best place to reach out to you, Matt? LockedOnSpartans@gmail.com. LockedOnSpartans@gmail.com. And I know there's only a few dozen people watching. I have 3 tickets to the game tomorrow against Indiana. Upper deck, bleacher seats. These are not good seats. I want to make this very clear that these are not good seats. But if anyone can use 3 tickets to tomorrow's game in the upper deck against Indiana, email me at lockedonspartans@gmail.com. If you guys email me, I'll put your guys' name in a hat, draw it out before midnight tonight, and I'll email you guys the ticket. So it'll be kind of like a random drawing sort of thing. But yes, 3 tickets. Again, not good seats, but you're in the building. All right. So it is quite literally the bare minimum of what we can do to show thank you here. But like, I got them laying around. So yeah, lockedonspartans@gmail.com. Just say, hey, I'm interested in the tickets, and I'll do the drawing at midnight, hit you up in the morning, and then we'll get the tickets your way. So
upper zone.
The ozone for life, baby. That's right. The ozone. The ozone. Yep.
Yeah. Thanks for having me back. Thanks everyone for hanging out. I mean, we did a 2-hour show. We knew a 2-hour show. We figured some people would just pop in and out, but I think a handful of people.
Yeah.
I think a handful of people have hung out. And it's genuinely appreciated. Thanks to everyone who donated. And I know a lot of people, even who didn't donate to us, have donated elsewhere and donated their team, their help, their whatever. There's a million different ways to help out. It's not just financial. So yeah, we appreciate all you. And I think as tragedy can do, it shows your resolve and your character. And I think Michigan State has a lot to be proud of in the way we've responded to this.
Well said. There we go. Love you all. Even you, Will.
Thanks, everyone.
Especially you. That's right. You guys are all the best. Thank you so much. Go green. Until next time, hey, you guys know where to find us. We got episodes coming out this whole week. So Locked On Spartans. And hey, still continue to donate. Spartan Strong Fund. Love you all. You guys are the best.